Welcome to East Alabama Today, featuring topics, events, and interesting people from all over East Alabama. Hosted by Carl Brady. Now, let's get right to the show. Here's Carl Brady.
Hello, everyone. Welcome into East Alabama Today. I'm Carl Brady. Thanks for being with us on today's program. A big show coming up for you today, and we'll get to that in just a moment. First off, let me give you all the contact information for the program. If you have an idea for the show, we want to hear from you. So we're looking at all the things that are going on in your community. You know better than we do what's happening. So send me emails about those events, fairs, festivals, things going on with your church or your community organization. Let me know what's going on by sending me an email, cbrady@tv24.tv, cbrady@tv24.tv. Now, we're also looking for the interesting people who live in your community. Maybe you know someone who's a writer, an artist, or a musician. Maybe they have an odd or an interesting hobby and you think they'd be a great guest for the program. That's exactly who we are looking for. So send me those emails, cbrady@tv24.tv. As I mentioned, we've got a good show coming up for you today. You're going to want to stay around for it. So we'll be back to get things started in just a moment. Welcome back into East Alabama Today. As I told you, we've got a good show for you today, and you're going to want to really watch this show and pay attention. Our guest today is Venicia Butler. And Venicia, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Good to have you on with us. And I'm anxious to talk to you about your new book that is out. Venicia is from Piedmont, a local author who has recently written a book called I Have to Get Some Things Off My Chest. And Venicia, this book is about your battle over the last few years with breast cancer.
That's correct.
Just give us a little bit of your story and some of your background. Start us off.
Okay. I was first diagnosed in May of 2006. I was homeschooling my children, Nathan and Chelsea. They were 10 and 11. And just like everybody else that's been told they have cancer, it just came as a shock and just really changed my life. I told a class today, I spoke at Piedmont High School, and I said, cancer was probably the best thing that ever happened. A lot of times people don't realize their purpose, and things may be going good, and all of a sudden something, what could seem tragic could turn out to be the biggest blessing of your life.
And that's something that most people will find odd to hear somebody say who has had breast cancer, has had it reoccur, and is in a continual battle to keep this from reoccurring, to say getting cancer has turned out to be one of the best things that ever happened to you. That's something most people will find very odd to say. Explain that comment a little bit.
Yeah, in 2006, if someone have told, if I was told in 2006 that in 2013, 7 years later and 4 cancers later, I would say that was the greatest thing, I would say you're crazy. Because I told God, I said, I'm not going to do chemo. I just was really afraid of chemo. Had lost some friends to cancer and saw what they went through with their battle. But then when I realized that God had me and I was going to go through cancer and chemo, he just put a fight in me and a warrior spirit. And because I have sat so much with people fighting cancer, it showed me that life is more than just having things. You know, life is about your family, your friends, the things you can't buy. It's the stuff that is free. And that's why I say I'm blessed to have had cancer, because I have lived the last 7 years of my life appreciating every moment, every day, whether it's Monday or Friday. You know, I found that a lot of people spend most of their time wishing their life away. When you sit with people fighting for their life, they're just grateful for that day and that moment. So, but I have gone through breast cancer 4 times, twice in left, right breast, chest wall, and lung. But as of just this past week, I was declared cancer-free again. I have my scans every 3 months, so once again, I feel like I have a 3-month lease on life to where no chemo, no radiation, and that's the way I live now. If I'm not headed toward one of those two places, it's a good day. I don't care if it's raining or if the sun's shining. You know, it just changes your life. It changes the way you view life, and especially when you have young children. My children were 10 and 11, and I just said, Lord, please let me watch them grow up. You know, everything changes. It just made me realize that I want to be here. You know, I love being a mother, and I love being a wife, but I wanted to be in the future also. So it wasn't, I mean, I haven't always had this awesome personal, you know, great positive attitude, but after you've sat with people and you've seen that even though I had cancer, I always seen someone struggling and battling it worse than me. And that changed the way I viewed even my cancer. I wanted to try to help those that were going through it and having a harder time. It helped me cope with my illness, knowing that I was helping someone else get through theirs.
You've talked about in your book and in your speaking how you realize now that even before your diagnosis that God was already kind of preparing things and putting things in the correct order. You were homeschooling your kids, but had decided to put them in school, and it was a good thing they were already in school when you found out. And so the path was already kind of being laid out. Yeah,
and this is what I tell people. You know, when God has a purpose, which He has a purpose for all of us, He prepares that. He prepares us when we're not even realizing that it's Him orchestrating our lives. But yes, I was homeschooling, and about a month before I found out I was diagnosed with cancer, had just gotten a piece about putting my children in school, and interviewed at Jacksonville Christian, and just knew that was where they belonged. A month later, I was diagnosed. So it's like He took care of my children. He took care of me and I feel like I would have had so much guilt about not being able to keep them at home anymore because of what I was going to face. But He took care of all that, just like He has taken care of the last 7 years. And the last year has been amazing with the book and the foundation I started. It's just been the best year of my life, really. And I've gone through 2 cancers in the last year.
as well. So, and we'll talk about your foundation here in a little bit. Let's talk about your diagnosis. That's an interesting story in itself, and has a lot of information that men and women both need to hear. You first suspected there was a problem, but you didn't immediately take care of it because you had your annual mammogram was scheduled for a couple of months away. I'll just wait till then, and you want to advise women, don't wait. If you think something's wrong, you need to have it checked out as soon as possible.
Absolutely, yes. I discovered through self-examinations, I had discovered a lump, but then I'd always heard if a lump hurt or it was tender, then it was a cyst and there was no need to worry. And I knew I had an appointment coming up in April, so I thought, well, I'll just wait. It's just nothing. And that was probably the worst decision I ever made. And that's why I tell people, definitely self-exams, knowing your body well enough to when there is a change, definitely go have it seen about immediately. Because I did not do that when I had my mammogram, it had already moved into my lymph system. And again, that's what I said, I've had it 4 times in 7 years, and that one time of not going and having it checked and getting it into my lymph system is the reason it kept recurring.
Right.
So it's very important to not procrastinate and to have yearly mammograms, but even that, check yourself each day is the most important thing. You
mentioned earlier that you didn't want to go through chemo, and that that was your first thought was I don't want to do this. And another thing that people might find shocking, or in some cases maybe even funny, you had a point where you challenged God and took your metal lawn chair out in the middle of a thunderstorm and said, hit me with lightning, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, I've always been really hard-headed, and Was most mischievous in school. I've always did a lot of crazy things, and yeah, exactly. I just felt like I just don't want to do this chemo, and you either heal me or kill me. And when I found out for sure I was going through chemo, and when I found out it was in my lymph system, I went out. It was coming a cloud to ground lightning thunderstorm, and I just sat there in my metal chair and crossed my arms and said, okay, you have 10 minutes. I'll give you 10 minutes to strike me with lightning, because that's how serious I am about not doing chemo.
Yeah.
But in that 10 minutes, I was soaking wet, but at the same time, he took away my fear. And when I stood up, I knew I was going through chemo, and I didn't look back. I wasn't fearful. I wasn't afraid to die. And I went in a totally different person in the house, and told my kids, I said, Mom's going through chemo, but I'm gonna fight.
Yeah.
So it's I don't recommend people challenging God like that.
Not so blatantly.
But thank God he kind of just, I'm sure he laughed at me and let me get through my 10 minutes of pity party. But he definitely he gave me the strength that I was going to have, and I wouldn't give anything for that experience. I don't recommend people doing it, but I know that's when I was filled with what I had to have to go through what I was facing.
Talk about your treatment. You had a single mastectomy, and went through the chemo and through the whole process. How did that go for you? Some people have worse symptoms and problems than others. How did things work out for you? Well,
the first treatment, went through it with no problems, no hospital stays, no complications. It was just the best. If it can be a great experience, I had a great experience. The second cancer is when I totally had everything started happening right off the bat. My port got infected. I had a MRSA staph infection. I had a blood clot in my jugular vein. In treatment, I had to go and have my gallbladder out. So I was sick with chemo. I was sick with the gallbladder. I think I was in the hospital 4 or 5 times. That's another reason this was like another mastectomy, and that's when I thought, well, this may be it, going through that second cancer. And that's when I got through the second cancer, I realized I'm here for a reason. After I lived through that, I told God, compared to the first cancer, when I said, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing chemo. And then after the second cancer, I said, I will do anything you want me to do. And that's when I knew I was supposed to, he told me to write a book and speak.
Yeah.
And that was 2 things I never thought I would ever do, because I never read, really. I wasn't a reader. I can't type. I wrote the whole book with 2 fingers, like this. And but once you know what your purpose is, it's like everything, he opens all the doors and brings all the right people in your life. And that's what I'm saying. In the last year, after I was told what my purpose is here, I was also told I had cancer 2 more times.
Right.
Chest wall and in my lung. So, but it's been the happiest year. And that's what I tell people, even when you know what your purpose is and when God tells you what to do, that doesn't mean everything's going to be smooth sailing.
Doesn't mean the challenges stop.
The challenges are still there. It's just the power and the strength he gives you. You can go through it and not even realize you're in a battle, because he equips us. He equips us, and that's why I tell people, don't run from your purpose. Embrace it. And because even if you don't think you're qualified to do it, which I knew I wasn't qualified to write or speak, he qualified me to do that. He equipped me to do that. And it just wasn't one time, it's every time I have to do it. He equips me. And so that's basically, of all the things that's happened this last year, has been the most amazing year of my life, really.
We need to pause right there and take a commercial break. We'll be back in a moment with more from Venicia Butler. We'll talk more about her book and talk about the foundation and what the foundation does for people locally who are battling cancer. We'll give you all those details when we come back. So stay with us here on East Alabama Today. Welcome you back into East Alabama Today. I'm Carl Brady. Venicia Butler is my guest. She's an author. She's from Piedmont, and her book is I Have to Get Some Things Off My Chest, and we'll let you see that there. You can get the book at her websites, veniciabutler.com or veniciasfoundation.org. You can learn more about the book and how you can get that. And we're going to talk about the foundation as well. But I think that, you know, what should have been the first obvious question is to have you explain your shirt, and that's just kind of become a buzzword, so much so that I was having dinner with my mom and dad a few nights ago, and I told my mom that this lady from Piedmont, Venicia Butler, is going to be on my show, and she said, "Oh yeah, the lady with the crap shirts. I know who she is." So you're getting really well known just for your buzzword there. Talk about that a little bit.
I know. It's really another God thing, and I wear the shirt when I speak in churches. Mm-hmm. I always make sure, you know, of course, I let the pastors know, or whoever I'm speaking for, I let them know. I'm like, well, I have to wear a crap shirt. Yeah. There's a story, it's a God thing, and He gets glory for it. But I want people to see that, just like the Bible says, God uses foolish things to confound the wise. And it really started with a sad occasion. A friend from school I went to high school with passed away in 2011. And it brought back some of my old school friends, and we just sort of had a reunion one weekend. We rented a cabin, got to reacquainted, and one of my friends told a story. And the whole story is in my book. I'll just kind of briefly say that because of her story, the word crap just became our word as a group. And a month later, I found out I was diagnosed with cancer. So I texted them all and said, you know, I have cancer again, crap. And just because I wanted them to laugh. Mm-hmm. You know, we had such a great weekend, and that word really, I know a lot of people think that's an offensive word, but it's really, when you read the story and how God used it in my life, it is definitely a God used that word for me. And one of my friends, when I had to have my mastectomy, brought me this shirt to the hospital as a joke. Yeah. And I thought, man, there's nobody ever going to want this shirt. But it's an awesome shirt. And never would have dreamed 2 years later it would be all over the world. Right.
Yeah, people are wearing your shirts literally all over the world.
It is worldwide. I joked with the girl, my friend Belinda, that got me the shirt. I said, crap is going worldwide. And I didn't realize how worldwide it was. Yeah. But when I was going through chemo, I got an idea that, you know, it'd be cool to, if someone was going on vacation, or if people could just text me pictures with the shirt. And I thought that would be cool, just to see where all it could go. And I would be sitting in chemo and my phone would start going off, and it would be people with my shirt, or, you know, just encouraging signs holding up, you know, with wearing my shirt. But then it was in the Philippines, in Japan. Wow. And I was thinking the other day about trying to figure out what state it hasn't been in, just so I can cover all the states, but it has been worldwide. But the main thing is God showed me and used this shirt because of my sister Randa and my friends selling the shirt. I was able to get medication that was going to be, I was in the hospital with a Mercer. I found out my medicine was $4,000. Wow. And my part was going to be $800, and I'm like, you know, I don't have $800. And my sister said, yes, you do. We've sold 100 crap shirts. Yeah. And I'm like, I had no idea that. And then all of a sudden, in 2 months, 600 shirts were sold. Wow. Now it's been over thousands of shirts sewn, and it's just so humbling to me when I see people I don't even know wearing a crap shirt. Yeah. And it's just a way, whenever she told me I had $800, not even knowing they had sewn shirts, that's how God used foolish things to get glory, for him to get glory. And every nurse on the 4th floor, my friends, everybody that was there knew that was a God thing.
Yeah.
Because I had exactly what I needed at that moment and never knew that I would. I had no idea that I had $800.
Yeah,
and then all of a
exactly.
sudden it was like somebody saying, "Here, you have $800." And it was because they went the second mile and went out and sewed these shirts.
Let's talk about the foundation. While you were going through your treatment, the chemotherapy, and you as you mentioned, always being a mischievous one and trying to be maybe the life of the party, always having a positive attitude. You'd go into these treatments and you see people who have lost hope, who are just totally devastated by their situation, and you wanted to find a way to try to lighten their mood a little bit, encourage them a little bit. So you came up with the foundation idea. What does the foundation do?
Okay. Well, when I was able to walk out of chemo in April of this year, I felt like a soldier looking around and seeing all the people that were left. And I felt really guilty. I had survivor's guilt. And I just knew I had to do something. For me to walk out 4 times with cancer is such a miracle. And I would always, when I would go to chemo, I would find the one that looked like they had lost hope. And I would sit next to him and watch a movie and we'd laugh. And so I went home and I said, I want to start a foundation. And we're incorporated, nonprofit. Everything we have goes into bags for cancer patients, filling it with things that will help them get through chemo, gas cards, restaurant cards. My ultimate goal is to get portable DVD players at each chemo chair with headphones, equip each chemo room with comedies, westerns, Andy Griffith shows, Carol Burnett, anything that's going to lighten their mood and lighten the moment of them having to sit in a chemo chair for 4 to 6 hours. And also I want to recognize the caretakers. I say caretakers are such an important part of a cancer patient's life. They may not sit in a chemo chair, but they sit in a waiting room chair. So we give them Starbucks cards. So they don't have to sit and wait. They can go and get out. Plus, we want to put portable DVD players in waiting rooms so they won't have to just sit there with nothing to do. So it's just I just want to give back to the people that's still fighting and to give other people, just like I could not get through cancer alone. I can't do this foundation, even with the board, even with the people helping. I want other people to get involved. I want young people to get involved. And because when you help other people, when you go and you give a bag to someone fighting for their life, and the greatest thing, they get in there and see a great tube of chapstick, and you see how happy that makes them. It's stuff that is not very expensive things. The items are not very expensive. It's the caring that goes behind it. It's the thing that I can't believe somebody thought enough about me to bring me a bag. And it's not about me. It's just giving back and finding someone else that needs somebody to care. So it's just my way of giving back.
Yeah. We're already running out of time. So quickly, how can people participate in the foundation? What can they do? How can they help you make this foundation move forward?
Well, like you said, on my website, there's information about the foundation. We have drives where people donate the items. We have specific items. People can give financial donations because we are a nonprofit. It helps them also. We have a P.O. Box 572 in Piedmont that people can send donations to if they want to help carry bags. Like I said, I want to share this with everybody. So we need help packing bags. We need help delivering bags. But basically all the information is on my website, how to get involved. And if you want to email me, I can explain, or if you know somebody in need of a bag. But we just started with Anniston Oncology. We want to move to every location that has a chemo room, and just first give out bags. We've given out over 60 bags so far since we've gotten everything established. And we probably have about 200 more patients just in this area that needs a bag.
Wow.
So, but we're going to do it. You know, that's my goal, is by Christmas everyone to have a bag that's going through chemo and radiation.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, be back to wrap things up, give you a little contact information as we continue with East Alabama Today. Stay with us. Well, just about ready to wrap things up, and once again, the information for Venicia's book. I have to get some things off my chest. VeniciaButler.com, VeniciaFoundation.com. That's where you can find out all the information you need about her book, about the foundation, how you can get copies of the book yourself, how you can get your own copy, your own crap T-shirts to wear, and you've become quite a popular speaker around the community as well, at church and civic organizations and things like that. So all the information on how to get in touch with you to speak is available on the website as well. So you can go check that out and get her on your calendar for your organization. Venicia, thank you so much for being with us. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. Folks, thank you for being with us as well here on East Alabama Today. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.